What's up everybody, Force here, and today I want to talk with you guys about a really cool theory that was presented by Reddit user Redstone Assassin yesterday pertaining to some potential hidden god programs within this game that could lead to future events that we might get to play. So before we jump into the theory, let's talk about what a god program is. This is actually a well-established thing in the Overwatch universe. So according to the Overwatch wiki, a god program is a powerful AI that is capable of taking over Omnics and other machinery. They typically have malicious intent and will kill humans, corrupt infrastructure, and launch military strikes. Now, from what is currently known, the god programs directly ignited the Omnic crisis by seizing control of Omnics and then producing combat Omnics to attack humanity. Overwatch had quarantined most, if not all, of these programs after the crisis ended. And a lot of this information is actually referenced directly in Farah's mission statement comic. The whole comic revolves around the Anubis god program breaking free from its quarantine and then attempting to corrupt some infrastructure and actually launch a military assault against humanity. Now, Farah and her small team were able to step in and stop this breach from succeeding, but it gave us a little glimpse into some really cool lore in the Overwatch universe. From what we can tell based on this comic, the god programs are actually depicted as ancient gods that we would know in the real world. So, what does any of this have to do with Ilios? Well, here is where the theory begins. So there's a shop right outside of spawn called the Golden Fleece, and inside of that shop we see several postcards, one of which appears to show a statue that looks very similar to the one in the center of Ilios, but with a few distinct differences. First off, there are tunnels depicted on either side of the statue, which aren't currently there, and also the statue is facing in the opposite direction. And then the final difference between this postcard and what we see in game is that there's no construction equipment. So these differences led Redstone Assassin to believe that there could be a hidden room behind the statue that has been covered up, and this would be supported by all of this construction equipment surrounding the statue that we see in the game. Now, it also appears that the statue in the postcard looks nearly identical to the one at the opposite end of the capture point. So what this could also mean is that there was once a structure around this statue and that collapsed, and that explains all the construction equipment, or that the statue was moved to kind of further hide the location of this hidden room. And that is his final conclusion, that this statue depicts Athena, which again would be another god of ancient mythology similar to Anubis, and that could represent another god program in the Overwatch universe that was covered up and quarantined by Overwatch at the end of the Omnic crisis. And this is the reason why Overwatch and Talon are fighting over this specific location at Ilios, because Talon wants to break free and control the god program and use it, you know, to their own malicious intent, because it does have the capability of taking over Omnics and doing all sorts of things. Now, there's a lot of theorizing here, obviously, that Redstone Assassin came up with. We're looking at a postcard in a game and doing I guess some logical leaping, if you will, some leaps of faith. But I think it's really fun to think about. I like to theorize about the games that I play, Overwatch being one that I'm terribly obsessed with, and it's cool to think about the potential, what could come up, this idea that there might be another god program. Things are aligning here. Like, you take a look at the god program of Anubis, and it broke free and was literally like represented by the statue of Anubis. So this idea that we've got another statue of an ancient mythological god, this one being Athena, and that could tie directly to another god program, because there were several that Overwatch had to quarantine and cover up after the Omnic crisis. It's certainly a possibility. And I also love the idea of there being these hidden rooms in the game that could eventually be revealed. Maybe in the future we have an event where the god program that represented on Ilios escapes, breaks free, and we have to defend against the Omnics. And this isn't so much different from the event that we have going on in Uprising, where we're fighting off Omnics. It would just be a different story thing. Fun to think about, and I really wanted to share it with you guys because I thought it was really neat. Again, obviously all the credit here goes to Redstone Assassin for coming up with this theory. I'll give you guys a link to the thread in the video description below if you'd like to see and engage in more conversation about this theory, about this idea. I'd love to know what you guys think. Once more, I realize it's a bit of logical leaping, but again, I find this kind of stuff fun to do. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you have a good one, and until next time, I'll see you later.